All right, very good afternoon from Rotterdam. Glad that everybody could join us at this Monday afternoon. So today I'll be talking you through some of the key points for solar asset management Europe. First of all, a warm welcome to everybody, and yeah, let's dive into it. So, short introduction. So, the reason for joining this webinar. Of course, Solar Asset Management Europe on the 30th and 31st of October. And today I'll be talking you through some of the, I would say, key challenges, opportunities for the event, how to make most of it. What are some of the things you should really prepare for? What should you give to your team to make sure that they can take most value out of the event? And how do you prepare? So in short, I'm Jens. I guess most of you know me personally. Some others might be in contact with my colleagues Sid or Anna, and all three of us are coordinating the event, and we'll be available for all of your questions prior to and of course also during the event. So please also in the run up to the event feel free to drop us an email or give us a call in case of any questions. And I've personally been with Solarplaza for the last 2 years. I've done a bunch of events. Just came from Mexico where I've done our local solar asset management event. So I'm familiar with the usual struggles sponsors are facing in a run to an event. So I'm very glad that we have the opportunity to talk you through some of these things and make sure you're and your team are fully prepared for the event. So let's dive into the content. So I'll quickly talk you through those logistics, to get that out of the way. Some of those last things to make sure you have everything in place before the event. Then I wanted to quickly draw your attention to some of the pre-conference promotion, just some actions on your side and on our side to make sure that we have the right people into the room. Then I wanted to talk you through our networking app. We actually have a new networking app, so another good reason for joining this webinar. So I'll talk you quickly through how to make most use of that, how to make sure you have that all set up before we go. Then a couple of tips and tricks, maybe for you. I know there's a couple of people from the marketing side joining. So for those that recommend to maybe give those tips for at the conference along to your, the delegates that you'll have present at the event. So I'll talk you through that quickly. Then after the conference, so just a couple of tips on how to follow up on things and how to make sure that, your memory at the event just kind of sticks with the attendees. Wanted to quickly give you a kind of a sneak peek on the 2020 calendar, and then at last we'll open up the questions and answers section. All right. Yeah, just the last note. I think there's quite some people on the webinar already, but feel free to afterwards. Marco and I are sitting here. We'll make the recordings available to everyone, so feel free to share this presentation with your team to make sure they can watch this at their own convenient moment and make sure they're prepared. All right. I think we've opened up the questions box. If there's meanwhile that we're talking you through these sections, if there's any questions coming up, feel free to send them over and we'll deal with them when we get to the end of the presentation. All right. So for this very first slide here, the logistics. So either myself, Anna, or Sid will have sent you the exhibitor's guide. I know I'm fairly sure that all of you have gone through this great document, but if you haven't, make sure to go through it. It has all the information on how to prepare for the event, how to register your delegates, as well as any details on the exhibition setup or what you should do in terms of your networking break, for instance. But something else I really wanted to point out is the delegate registration. So something that's key for us is for sponsors to make use of that confirmation email that we send you, which holds a code to register your participants. This allows us to also put them on the list of participants, to send them over any information that they need in the run up to the event. So if you haven't already registered your participants, please make sure to do so within the upcoming days. This will also allow them to access the networking app. Kind of as a sub point to that one would be the dinner registration. So of course we'll host a great networking dinner at the end of the first day. That's sponsored also by Stoibli. They will be hosting that one. So if you want to have your delegates attending that one, which I presume all of you will, just make sure to register them, and just when you register your delegates, make sure to also click the dinner button. If you've already registered your delegates and you're doubting whether they are on the list, just feel free to shoot us an email and we'll check that for you. Another important point that I wanted to mention to you is actually the booth building assistance. It's also in the exhibitor's guide, but as you know, the event will take place from the 30th until the 31st of October. Due to an event happening the day before the event, we'll have limited time for setting up the exhibits during the event. So we only have time during that morning. So we'll open up the exhibition floor already from 6 in the morning onwards. And of course, that's not the time most people want to be out there building exhibition booths, and we fully understand that. So that's why we, excuse me for a second. So that's why we've arranged with the local hotel to provide us with some booth building assistance. So that means you only would have to actually bring your exhibits to the venue the day before, and we can help you out. So all three of us will be present, and we'll be able to set up most of your exhibits. So key for this is if you're sending your stuff to the venue, make sure to provide clear labeling and clear instructions for the kind of the building of your materials. Also, if you want to make use of this service, please let us know by just sending us a simple email on you wanting to make use of these materials, on these services. Then again, the shipment period is quite an important one. So if you indeed are exhibiting and you want to send your materials over, we have the opportunity to store materials from the 25th until the 1st of November. So if you want to send any materials for us to build, they would also have to be in before 4 o'clock on the 29th of October. So again, just make sure to have clear labeling, make sure to mention our event. We actually have provided the shipping label also in the exhibition guide, so make sure to make use of that. And on top of that, please also include any instructions if you want us to build or help, putting up your pop-up wall or any of these materials. The other important point is that we actually have the opportunity to store your materials until the day after the event. So if you want to do that, please do make sure to arrange for pickup yourself, but the venue will be able to keep your materials there until noon the day after the event, and there will be someone present to to kind of escort your courier to the materials where the room where the materials are stored. So that being said, so again, most important stuff there. If you want to make use of the booth building service, please let us know, and make sure to have your materials picked up the day after the event. Also, the exhibitor's guide hosts actually a little section on AV rentals. So if you want to make sure your booth sends out with a screen and you don't want to bring that all the way, just make sure to use that recommendation on the exhibitor's guide. Then actually some further details on that on the exhibition. So on that day, we'll actually open it, I said before 6 in the morning, but it's actually 5:30. We will open the exhibition for setup until 8 in the morning. You'll have that opportunity to set everything up. Again, we provide the service to help you out, to kind of, have plenty of hands present to help you set up everything you need during that day. And they will also be present during the teardown between 6 and 9 p.m. the second day of the conference. So we'll open up the registration at 8:30 in the morning on both days, and it will close at 6. So it just gives you kind of an idea of what times you should have your people present at the event. So we actually have at this point the exhibition floor sold out, which is of course great news, but just to give you an indication, that means at this point 32 exhibitors at the event. So we're very glad with it, but that also means a lot of exhibitors entering around the same time. So that's why it would be great for everybody to read up on the exhibitor's guide to make sure we have a smooth process during the event. All right, I think that's it on the logistics. If you have any questions on that, just again feel free to shoot them over as we go along. All right, onto the Solarplaza event app. I already mentioned that we'll have a new app this year that we're putting out. So just a couple of important points that I wanted to put out there. First of all, it's really easy to find both on Android and on the App Store for iOS. Just search for Solarplaza, and the Solarplaza Global Event app will bring you right to that application. Just go ahead and download it, and we'll actually send you over towards the end of this week a code which you can use to register your own account. So anybody that's registered for the event will get that link to be able to register themselves. So again, an important point why it's quite urgent to make sure that your delegates are registered in time, so they will also get that confirmation email. As soon as you have that set up and you're registered for the event, and you have the app on your phone, then you can find under the section My Events, you will be able to click on Solar Asset Management Europe 2019. Going to that one will bring you to kind of the home page, where, yeah, of course, all the news feed and all the materials will be shared, as well as notifications on the different sessions that will be shared. But if you go to the menu, the drop down, that's where you find kind of all of the key options that you will need to kind of navigate through that app. Here I wanted to talk you through kind of two of the key points from a, well, let's say marketing and business development perspective, which are the option for sponsors. So how do you modify your own page, and the attendee page. Right. So on the first slide here, on the sponsors, if you would click on the sponsor page, and what you're seeing here is an example from our last event in Mexico. So that's why the sponsor are a bit different from our own event. So don't don't get scared if you're not there yet. This is for the Mexico event. So if you would click on the sponsor options, you would actually find a drop down with all of these sponsors that are confirmed for the event. By clicking on each of the sponsors, you would find their homepage, which is, you can modify, you can change the description there, but it will also list all of the people, all of the staff basically that's present at the event, and you're also able to add, for example, a link to the website and all these things. So as soon as you sign up and you're able there, you're there kind of registered as a host, you will be able to change this. So when you've registered your delegates for the event on this Friday, they will all get an invitation to the app, which will allow them to also modify your personal page. If you have any struggles with modifying your own page, or you would like to know how to do this, how to make more use of it, just feel free to drop us a message and we'll help you get that all set up. So let me see. So the other important part is, if you use that drop down again and you go to the attendees page, you would actually here be able to find all of the attendees registered for the event, and you can search them either by name or by the drop down. So that's the second picture you're seeing there. So if you'd use the drop down, the filter that's kind of on the right bottom side of that first picture, you would actually be able to see them, all of the registered delegates per group. So this helps your local people or yourself to kind of target them a little bit more on target group. If you would find the delegate that you'd like to get in touch with, you can actually use then a couple of options to get in touch with them. So here, for instance, I just selected Alba from Acciona, who kind of matches my profile. She's an asset manager, so we make sure to reach out to her. So after clicking on her account, we actually can click on the menu, which is here at the bottom. So by clicking on that little bottom, you'll see a little menu pop up, which gives you some options in terms of how to get in touch with Alba. So you can either open a chat and send her some messages, or you can request a meeting. And that requesting a meeting is actually quite an interesting thing for all participants, but it's specifically for sponsors with a table, because it will allow you to request a meeting, and as a meeting spot, you will be able to also pick your own exhibition space. So when you're business developers, or when you yourself are trying to set up meetings, make sure to request a meeting and pick one of those exhibition spaces that is at the event, or of course one of the networking tables. So at the event, we'll actually have of course the exhibition space, but there will also be a separate area where there's approximately 10 high standing tables where you can set up your meetings and have your one-on-one meetings with some privacy. What you can also do is just, prior, for example, scanning this list, you can just add them here to your contacts, or kind of to your prospecting list, and that would just give you a nice overview of all of the people that you'd like to talk to. All right, hopefully that's clear. It's all, a very straightforward app. We're very happy with it. So also let us know your feedback after the event. What do you think about it? But we're pretty excited about working with the app. Now, and a couple of tips and tricks at the conference. So this is actually from experience, what I've seen working well in terms of reaching out to participants, making sure you're getting a hold of everyone you'd like to talk to. So first of all, make good use of the networking sessions. So the networking sessions are obviously there in between every little program break. So we're having these sessions there for you to be able to connect with them either at your booth or at a specific networking table. So these sessions, it's always good to at least plan a couple of meetings during these specific sessions to make sure you're able to meet with everyone there. Although, I mean, in the space of 2 days, having about 400 participants, you're usually able to, to connect with people at the event as well. But yeah, from experience, it's always good to make a list of like, 10 to 15 people that you really would like to set up meetings with, and make sure you do that prior to the event. There's the floor plan. So in the app, we'll also have the floor plan. Make sure to familiarize yourself a little bit with that floor plan in terms of where the workshop sessions, where's the conference room. This will just help you, to prior to the event, be aware of where everything is at and to not be late to any of the meetings. But I guess more importantly, what we've seen to work really well in terms of connecting with participants and make sure to actually have good content conversations with prospects is to actually have a close look at the event, at the conference program, and to kind of look at, okay, what are kind of sessions that prospective clients would be at, and to go to those specific sessions and have kind of and engage with them. So for instance, we'll have a couple of sessions where, for example, we'll be on the digitalization of O&M, or there might be a workshop on PPAs. What we've seen is working really well is that, of course, all of these sessions are, next to a presentation, there will be a content part where, you're able to discuss with your neighbors. And it's always a really great, opportunity to kind of connect with people over the content of that particular session, get a better understanding of what challenges your potential prospects are facing. And next to that, I already put the Slido out there. It's a really good opportunity to pose some questions. Slido is there, our interactive question app is there to kind of pose questions, maybe tickle the senses, a little bit of perspective clients there, and ask them something that might relate to a challenge that your solution, for example, or your product is solving. So, of course, it's quite important to, don't go too commercial on this interactive question app, but usually it is a really great way to, for example, ask potential clients something about the challenges that they're facing, the qualities that they're looking for in a partner. So it's something I'd recommend everybody to make use of, to just be able to already get some input on that side. I think in general, what's important is to just, with your team, especially if you're being present with multiple people, to have a close look at the event agenda. Look at some of the bullet points which are kind of close to, let's say, the value proposition that you're offering, and attend those sessions, as it's not only good for business development, but also for client feedback, obviously. So I would really recommend everybody to make use of those sessions as much as they can, and kind of engage with prospective clients. As an additional point on that, I think what we've really seen is to also during those sessions is to kind of ask people to come and stop by at the booth. So for instance, we'll have a couple of sessions that are really more focused at asset owners or at those IPPs, and I would really use those sessions as well to sit in. You can imagine that during those sessions, for example, on PPAs or on, for example, the scope of the asset managers, there's likely to be a high concentration of a potential group of clients and at others. So have a close look at that and make sure you're in the right sessions where you want to be. Then a little tip on following up after the conference. So after the conference, we'll actually keep the event app running for about a week, which will allow you to still finish up any conversations that you might have through the app, or it will as well allow you to, of course, kind of follow up with anybody that you missed during the app. So we'll have the attendee list, which you can also download through the app. But if you've missed anybody, you can still reach out to them through the app. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention earlier in terms of using that app. Let me just actually go back one slide here. That's one too far. So actually on the tips and tricks, what's actually super useful to have, so the networking app obviously is great for reaching out directly to participants one-on-one, but what we've also seen work really well is to make use of kind of posting on the wall of the event. So there's kind of an opportunity to post in the newsfeed, just even as an opening post on that wall. It's just something that your team is excited to be there and to meet everybody, even during the event. For example, if someone from your team is speaking, just to promote that through the app. So the app is actually, of course, high in visibility. So make sure to make good use of that during the event to kind of reach out to the participants. Then, yeah, after the event, as I was mentioning, so definitely following up with participants through the app is a key one. Also, the after the event post, um, we'll actually have a template, for example, that will allow you to kind of post some of the key takeaways that you had from the event. We'll also get you some pictures, so we'll have photographers walking around taking pictures of your exhibition space, or during the networking break taking some pictures. Yeah, if you would also have to take, if you wanted to if you wanted to take a picture with the team, with the photographer, just feel free to reach out to us and we'll make sure to get that done. So you just have a nice, yeah, tangible takeaway from the event that you can post after the event. Yeah, in general, we'll have Irene, our social media expert, providing you with some templates, some hashtags, and handles that you can use to promote after the event. So as well as the last point here, obtaining the slides. So obviously, you can only attend one session at the time, but yeah, do not be afraid. We'll share the slides after with you. So after the event ends, we'll actually provide you with a link which you can use to fill in the feedback for the event, and with that you'll also gain access to all of the presentations. So that will be available to you right after the event. I think those are the key points there that I wanted to discuss. I actually noticed here that we one slide that we missed here is actually the pre-event promotion, and this is really key, of course. I think it's a slide that's not in here, but I think Anna has already provided all of you with a banner for LinkedIn as well as for emails. And I would again, like to ask you to share this, put it in your email footer, as it is a really effective way to kind of promote thought leadership, show your audience that you are present at this event and that you are one of the key partners of Solar Asset Management Europe. So if you haven't done this already, if you haven't posted it or haven't put it in your email footer, I'd recommend you to do so. And of course, also that a discount code that we have for you. If you're not familiar with your specific code, just let us know and we'll resend that to you. But yeah, also make sure to share that with your relations. We're still getting a lot of signups without that code, so I think it's a great opportunity, to ask or at least provide it to prospective clients, and just share that code with them so they can register against your tailored discount. So yeah, let us know again, and then please make use of them. And together we will make sure we have a room of highly relevant people. So that's finishing up the after conference part. And there's something I quickly wanted to dive into with you, which is actually the part of 2020 outlook. So we're actually, we're very happy with the move to Germany. Obviously, we have done the event for the past years in Milan, but again, to explain the main reasons for moving to Frankfurt, Germany, I think first of all we're quite happy with the way that event has grown and evolved in Italy, but also in an attempt to make this really a broader European event. We've in years really seen the attendance increase from France, Spain, the Netherlands, Germany has always been strong, obviously, but as we're seeing a broader European, base of people attending, we figured we'd actually make it in another place in Europe to actually attract a more diverse audience than we've so far seen in Milan. So that seems to be working out really well. Another, of course, key reason for moving this to Frankfurt is that we've over the years seen more institutional investors, other financiers getting more comfortable with the idea of investing in solar, and in an attempt to attract even more of these financial asset managers and investors. For us, it made a lot of sense to move it to Frankfurt, kind of the European capital of finance, obviously, with also European Central Bank and other key players being there. So we're very happy with that, but we're still very much open to your feedback in terms of what do you think about this move, and very happy to consider this for next year as well. But in this at this point, we're quite happy with the growth trajectory of the event, and we're quite happy to see kind of an increase of other European players being present at the event, and we're only seeing the event growing further. What we're curious to hear about specifically for next year is what are your ideas in terms of making things better? How could we grow it? Both in terms of size, in terms of relevance for you specifically, and yeah, how can we chat already about your involvement for next year? So if you and the team already want to talk about kind of the options and the opportunity of getting involved next year, feel free to reach out to any of us, and we're happy to kind of make an appointment during one of those networking breaks and just sit with you and talk a bit about how to make things even better and how to engage. I think that's it for the content side of my short presentation. What I'd like to do now is maybe take a couple of questions. I think there were few already rolling in, so feel free to to send over anything you might have at this stage. Um, so let's have a look here. All right, so I'm seeing. All right, so the first one is what's the exact name of the app? So actually, the app, if we can actually go back to that slide to just show you, um, just show you what the name of that app is. Um, so it's actually Solarplaza Global Events. That's the one everybody should be able to find it on. So hopefully that helps. So I think in most cases you will be able to find it if you put Solarplaza, but then you should definitely be able to find it. Next one, really good question actually, is on the tablecloth. Should you bring your own tablecloth? That's a great one. If you actually go to the exhibitor's guide, everything that's included in the network and in the exhibition package, it's listed in the exhibitor's guide, and it includes the basic furniture, so a table, chairs. But what's actually not included is a tablecloth. So if you want to bring kind of a branded tablecloth or any materials to kind of make your booth stand out, yeah, definitely bring one of those. I think if you also go to the pictures on the website from last year, you'll see that the majority of the exhibitors brought this. So yeah, definitely make sure to bring that. And in on top of that, how do you make your booth kind of stand out? I think a lot of players would go for bringing basic brochures, a roll-up banner, or kind of a backdrop, as well as kind of renting a screen through the AV rental company or bringing one of your own. Wi-Fi is also provided. I see a question here, definitely. So prior to the event, we'll share the Wi-Fi login and all those materials with you. But yeah, the tablecloth, definitely make sure to bring a branded tablecloth. It's always a great way to set yourself apart. Here, another good question. Can I work on the company profile even if I'm not logged into the conference? Yeah, so that's indeed something that we're seeing quite a bit. Obviously, there's quite some marketeers tuned in that might be not the ones attending the event, but they're working on this. In this case, what I'd suggest is for you to maybe get in touch with the people that are logged into to the events, or the participants that are signed up, and maybe to share the sign up with them. Another option could be that actually for you to contact Anna or myself, and we'll be able to to provide you, if you can send us the company profile, we'll be able to update that for you. If you would really like to work on it on your own, to kind of update the profile on your own, we can even get you an access code. So yeah, let us know after the event. Send us an email if you would personally like to have access to the networking app. Just send us a short email, and we'll get you a code for you to register. I think that should be a good solution as well. All right. Let me see here. How do we access Slido? All right, good question. So again, Slido, for those who might have forgotten it, so Slido is actually the interactive app that we have for questions. This is integrated in the networking app. So you actually, same place where you found the sponsors, the attendees, that's also where you'll find a little option for Slido, and you'll be able to answer those questions there, or yeah, ask any questions that you might have. Okay, I see two more questions here that I'll take. So where can I find the suggestions for the AV rental? Yeah, so again, the suggestions for the AV rental, as well as the suggestions for printing or any other local services, they're actually all included in the exhibitor's guide. So if you just go there and you'll find it in the short outlook, it will say where to find it. Yeah, I already mentioned the networking dinner, so please make sure to sign up your delegates for that. But here's the little question on where it will be held. So it will be held in the same location as the event. So actually, it will be held on the top floor. There will be a networking dinner there, and that's actually the networking dinner is just on the third floor. There will be a little registration desk where your delegates can just mention their name. If you want to have any clients or other people that you've invited through you to have networking dinner, basically as an invitation from your event, just let us know, and we'll be able to make that work through you. So an invitation through your company. So if you have other people that you'd like to bring to the networking dinner other than your delegates, we'll be able to bring those. All right, so I think those are all the questions for now. Oh, there's actually one final question here. So will the sessions be recorded, or will there be any photos taken? Yeah. So the both sessions that we'll have during the event, they will both be recorded, and recordings will of course need to be edited, and it will become available after the event. So that usually takes 2 weeks for us to edit those and to bring them out. But definitely those recordings will be available to everybody. The photos, they will be available a bit faster after the event. It should usually take 10 working days for us to get those up and send them to you. But this will also be shared with you. So we'll send all the photos that are relevant. We'll send those to you. Then, actually, as we're just trying to close up, there's a couple more questions coming in. So let's see, there's 2 more here to take them. So when will the networking app become available? So we're currently working on putting in the final attendees. So usually what we're seeing during those last 2 weeks now is that we actually see, actually still 1/4 of the attendees registering. So it's still a lot of the participants that are coming in the final weeks. So as we're kind of still, trying to do it as most up to date as we can, we're just kind of putting the app in place and make sure it's online by Friday. So it should be online by then. That's also when the time so as the networking app becomes available on Friday, Monday latest. That's also when you're able to actually set up your account and start setting up meetings. So that's also to that question. Can we start organizing meetings now? We'll make the app available, and as soon as it's online, you can start sending out meeting requests and setting those meetings. All right, as a final questions, that's before closing up. So, is there a booth build-up service fee? No, that's completely free of charge. So if you do want to make use of that, if you need some extra hands to basically, set up your materials during the event, just let us know. It's free of charge. It's a service we're providing during that morning. So again, if you want to make use of that, just send us a note, and we'll be able to help you out there. I'd like to thank everybody for your attention. And if you have any additional questions after this webinar, just feel free to let me know. I'm happy to also plan a call to kind of make sure we're ready for the event altogether. Thanks a lot for joining in, and I look forward to a very great event with all of you. I'll see you in Frankfurt. Take care.